I apologize. I don't have any excuse for starting late other than I really don't want to write the chapter. Hello, everyone. Faithful author, storyteller of Mahavre, does legal with flavor, Amanda Splatts. Fuck. I knew this chapter was coming. I'm trying to, I know as of like previously, like the last maybe year and a half or so, I've been writing chapter by chapter by chapter without having too much of a long-term plan in mind. Now, I want to try to evolve as an author. I want to try to get a little bit more continuity, but so I've got some big plans for the story. The story is the Mahavre Project. Channel is the Amanda Splatts Project, and they've kind of been separate universes, although one obviously influences the other. I've had moments where I've realized that the Mahavre Project was lagging, that we need to like start moving forward with stuff. The original plan for the Mahavre Project was to have the story to wrap up in 2 years. My 2-year anniversary is July 17th. To have the story wrap up in 2 years, and then have a new protagonist, and stream as a new protagonist. At this rate, that's not gonna happen. Amanda's sticking around. Maybe. This is not gonna be one of those streams where like, feedback is always appreciated. I always try to work feedback into my story for anyone who's willing to come out to these writing streams live in the morning. But this is one of those chapters that I don't want to write. This is one of those chapters I have to write. One of those places I have to go because, you know, the hero's journey, right? The hero's journey can take him to some dark places. So don't expect a whole ton of talking today. I know that's not going to be entertaining. I totally understand if you want to come back later and just like I recap and reread the full story at the end of every stream. At the end of every stream, I take a break, a decent sized break, so I can find it myself when I do the recap, and then I reread the whole thing all the way through. If you want to just come back for the recap, I totally understand. But if you just want to listen to the BGM and hear me type and set up something bigger for the Mahavre Project, then I do appreciate it. I always appreciate these, anyone who comes out to my Wednesday streams to put up with my shit. Because not a lot of people put up with my shit anymore, and maybe I don't deserve it. But for those of you who've hung around, for those of you who are fans of the story, fans of my work, I will always deeply appreciate that. And I will always strive to improve myself for you. I think that's the best thing you can say about a hobby, is that it makes you want to be better as a person. And then that's a real good fucking hobby. And I've done that in both creative writing and being a streamer. So I want to try something experimental with the Mahavre Project over the next few months. April, May, and June specifically, because July is the 2-year anniversary. I know now I'm not going to resolve the Mahavre Project in 2 years. Not if I'm only writing one stream a month. I may bump it up to 2 streams a month, but I don't know. Like, work is just ramping up. I want to keep going at somewhat of a regular pace, but I don't want to burn myself, because I've burned myself out writing regularly before. I used to write a weekly show. Not show, a weekly, like, newsletter type of thing. And having to be that creative every single week burnt me out pretty quickly. So that's why I've forced myself to pare these writing streams down to once, if not twice a month. And one of these days, I think maybe for my 2-year anniversary, I will go ahead and do a recap, like read all the stories back to back at once, but I don't know if I'm gonna have the time, honestly. Work is like really fucking bad. Work is bad, and real life is not supposed to get in the way of VTubing. But VTubing has become such a big, important part of my life now. And these amazing people I've met on my journey, I want to do right by them. And the best thing I can do right by them is trying my hardest, trying my best, and giving the best that I can in the skills and the places that I do have, because I can't do a lot. I can't do a lot of games and shit that a lot of people do. I can't join in a lot of collabs. There are a couple things I don't agree with, I just can't be part of. Although that rarely ever fucking comes up. But so yeah, April, May, June, I want to try something experimental for the project, and I'll bring that up at the end. I may have like a Twitter post to make after this. I'm giving myself 6 to 7 hours. 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7. Because I got a collab coming up on my birthday, and I want to teach some people how to play the game we'll be doing. So I have a couple offline sessions with a couple people. And then later today, it's just me and Minato just gonna fuck around a bit. Stream with no plans, although we may have plans. Still kind of streaming no plans, because it's branding. But going through the story, going through the previous chapters, I noticed there are a lot of stray ends. Like, that's what happens when you write from month to month, episodic, without a long-term plan. A lot of stray ends end up coming up. So I need to do something that'll cull a lot of the straight ends so that Amanda can focus on the main story at hand. And that main story is restoring the water to Mahavre, the holy water that flowed underneath the desert back when the gods walked here. Trying to restore the gods if they are going to come back. And now there's this new scenario that was that appeared recently with the white obelisks, where Amanda's trying to find out what the white obelisks are, although she just kind of noped out of that shit pretty quickly. But obviously some as strange and specific as white obelisks surrounded by drones and razor wire. That's gonna come back up. I don't want to write this. I really don't want to write this chapter. But looking over the story, there are a lot of loose ends that I need to wrap up. And we're doing that today. Start with the big one. What's the expression? What's the expression? I don't know, maybe I made it up, or maybe it's something like really obscure, but I thought there was a saying. Pray for rain and curse the deluge that follows. Sky over Mahavre grew gray and maudlin, not quite raining just yet, but getting ready to express the concept of raining. It helped cool things down, and that helped with the move, but it was pretty common these days to pray for rain and curse the deluge that followed. I wish I had the balls to play. Never heard that one, so I can't say. Yeah, I'll have to look up. I'll have to look it up. That like they'll pray for rain and curse the deluge that follows, or something. Remember that? Because there's no P. There's no P in Haas and Pfeffer. Got the fan going right now. It's kind of nice. And I put on music for y'all. This is more that YouTube music, and I really like it. There's like a lot of actual bangers in the YouTube music library. But these are like I used to listen to music when I write. These days I just like listen to nothing. Like I turn on the fan, something droning I can focus on with my ears while I write. I don't know what that says about me. Amanda smiled sadly, kneeling down and wrapping her arms around Bun Bun, the proud lagomorphic American, proud retired five-star general of the Red Desert Army, and the one who found Amanda and helped nurse her back to health once Senator initially patched her up. On the night no one liked to talk about anymore. Like the night it happened, like when she got run over initially by the Isekai truck. General Beauregard Hassenpfeffer, as she was officially known, packed up the last of her various odds and ends, traveling light, leaving most of her military memorabilia to the Veterans Hall. One of the many things she was trying to leave behind as she hugged Amanda back. Come with me, Amanda, Bun Bun croaked out. I got like 20 adult kids at this point. I'm sure one of them will let you shack up in their garage. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. You gotta get out of this place. It's not helping. Especially now, know that, well, Bun Bun not often one to beat around the bush, mostly just the bandages around Amanda's arm. Yeah, I didn't notice, like, when I created this new 3D model with the Hawaiian shirt for my third season, I didn't notice the bandages around the arm. Kind of like it, and I wanted to work it into the story. Especially with what has already been worked into the story in certain parts. Amanda sighed sadly. I can't. I promised Takina I'd help her try to bring the water back to the Havre and restore this place. Amanda, I've been a general on the front lines protecting this county for longer than you've been alive. I used to lie to myself like that too. Out of pride more than anything. There's nothing here to restore. There's nothing here worth protecting anymore. The rot has taken my Havre. No matter how hard me and my sisters fought against it. I wanted to take you too. Yeah, I figure it's time to write Bun Bun out of the story. She was originally just a joke character with the cute little red military outfit, but even she ended up kind of turning dark with like the whole PTSD she had about the war. I feel like after healing up Amanda it's time to write Bun Bun out of the story. She was an amazing. She'll still appear here to there, like she's not dying or anything. But I kind of wanted to give her a good, happy send off. Like she's going on to better things, and it's kind of a sign that there is a road out for Amanda. Like if she does have to tap out, if she does have to, is Mahavre worth saving or not? Can it even be saved? There's gonna be that doubt in her head, but there's also gonna be that level of comfort that there is another way, should she choose to take it, and that there will be somewhere there or someone there on the other side, willing to help her. I love the fact that there's actually a wood panel station. Like, I made it up as something horribly fucking gaudy. That Mahavre chic I was talking about. Like, man, like Sandra would be putting up beaded curtains from the 70s in her fucking cave. That Mahavre chic. Where it's just horribly shabby. Old, like, may have been elegant decades ago, but it's literally better than just dirt. Amanda nodded, wordlessly hugging the old general before reluctantly letting him go in the arms of her children and grandchildren. Crowded the old van as they took one last selfie before disappearing down the non-Euclidean roads that skewed one's sense of direction. It was going to be a lot quieter without Bun Bun around, but Amanda promised to keep taking singing gigs at the Veterans Hall just to check in on her old friends. One final salute later, and Amanda hopped up into her red and black wood-paneled town and country, peeling off as she felt the winds kick up, indicating that the deck was now shuffling again. For anyone who is not familiar with Mahavre, I can't believe it's not butter level of exactly 100%. That is fucking perfect. I may use that in the future. Thank you. That's fucking perfect. Yeah, for those of you not familiar with Mahavre and the topography, I'm not going to go over it too much right now because I went over it in the last couple chapters. But the roads are non-Euclidean and the sands are tainted with eldritch blood. So every once in a while, like, the roads shuffle and the landmarks shuffle. So it's really, unless you've got the right technology, it's really hard to get from place to place unless, like, you've got, like, the right tech. And the military who had the right tech have recently pulled out of Mahavre. So it's going to be even. Things are just slowly getting worse and worse now. So there is that. I try to add that the place is in fact rotting, not just from the rot itself, but as it is, trying to get that agency there. You know, shit or get. There's an expression in America that my dad likes to use, shit or get off the pot, that type of thing. And again, the deck was now shuffling again. And Is let's play the current, like, even if you're doing a live stream, is let's play the proper term? I think it is. I'm not sure. I think it is. Amanda, who had perps on those roads today, pulled out her cell phone after pulling over to the side of the road. Most people weren't coordinated enough to drive while using their phones, although they still did. And Amanda was far less coordinated than most people, which you would know by watching any of her fighting game Let's Plays, or any of her Let's Plays in general. Like, to anyone who's played BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, it's basically the embryo. Like roads keep shuffling. It's basically the embryo. Or anyone who's played a roguelike, basically Mahavri is a roguelike now. There's rooms that always exist, but they shuffle. Forget, is she going to the courthouse first? Yeah, I think she's going to the courthouse. There's also a game I think called Pacific Drive that does that too, kind of. Probably has more paranormal shit than the desert here. Pacific Drive. I'll look that up. You notice the more impactful games, the bigger games I play here, do have kind of a... Ooh, it's 60% off right now. Face the supernatural dangers of the Olympic excursion zone with the cars. Your only lifeline is driving survival adventure. Ooh, it's 11 net. Oh god, there's a fuck ton of DLC that drives it up to 35 bucks. Uh, 16 gigs of RAM, 18 gigs of storage. Fuck. I'll put it on the wish list, but I'm not playing that anytime soon. Thanks for the suggestion. Maybe I'll just do what I usually do and watch a Let's Play. God, what was it? Yeah, I think it was the courthouse. I always thought obelisks were interesting. I always thought obelisks were kind of a weird, kind of like weird waypoint type of thing in mythology. It was just a big tower, looks like a big spiky thing. It's kind of jutting arrogantly into the sky. Oh, fuck, I like that. Jutting against the sky. Don't worry. Unlike a lot of things in the Mahavri project, which I kind of pull out of my ass, um, I know what those obelisks are. And I kind of can't wait to reveal it. Amanda, who had purpose on those roads today, pulled out her cell phone after pulling over the side of the road. Most people weren't coordinated enough to drive while using their phones, although they still did. And Amanda was far less coordinated than most people, which you should know by watching any of her fighting game Let's Plays, or any of her Let's Plays in general. So she opted to pull over as soon as she hit a landmark, quote unquote, because pulling over on the roads themselves wasn't safe anymore. She found that out personally. Pulled out her phone, loading up the Mahavri Go app pushed by the local government. The way landmarks kept shifting, she knew where the courthouse was. She just didn't know where the courthouse was now. I think that's nice enough and simple enough a way to describe it without having to go over the whole thing again. At least using the county's dedicated eyes in the sky, now that the American military pulled out of Mahavri, leaving Juliet Ramiro behind. I'm trying to set the stage right now with this chapter for what's coming in the next few chapters. Amanda knew where to go. Or she would have if she wasn't getting an error message. Those obelisks again. She'd once again found herself at the landmark dotted by monstrous, jutting white teeth, protruding. I must have gotten distracted and started writing. Monstrous white, jutting white teeth. You go, monstrous. This is why I double check and double read everything. Sometimes I get so sucked up in the picture in my head that I don't realize that what I'm typing doesn't totally fucking make sense. Those obelisks again. She once again found herself at the landmark dotted by monstrous white teeth, jutting arrogantly against the sky as if to tear it, and surrounded by razor wire and drones as if to give them the time and space to do that. Cautiously, she just reiterating, like, because January was the chapter where I did the obelisks. February was a kind of side chapter with Mother Tiffy and Malone and all of them showing up. So this is kind of reiterating what happened in January in case you missed it. 555, that is an area code that's not supposed to exist. That's like used for movies and stuff. I use jutting because I wanna state like how unnatural it is for these fucking things to be here. Cautiously, she pulled up her phone to take a picture, only for it to start ringing again. The same 555 number from New Jersey. Amanda knows it was no stranger to spam callers, and no, she did not redeem. Do not redeem! I get so many fucking spam calls, I swear. Spam likely. But this number only called when Amanda found herself staring at those jutting white spires. Should she answer? Amanda doesn't answer numbers. She doesn't know what they are. Oh yeah, put that down. I would block so many. Oh god, and that doesn't even help. And it's hilarious to watch guys like Scammer Payback and Kid Boga and all of them. That's fucking hilarious. Although you gotta, like, some of these people don't have a choice. Some of these people doing these scam calls and the phishing and stuff, they're like prisoners in their country, or they're prisoners to, like, cartels and stuff, and they don't have a choice. They have to do it. So I feel weird about fucking with them. Because, they may be doing it for fun and profit, or they may be holed up in someone's basement or something, being forced to do it. You never know, so I just don't fuck with them at all. It must be that time of year my sinuses are starting to fuck with me. Like, here in the desert, like, we don't have 4 seasons like the average person does. We have summer. We have, bless you, thank you. We have summer. We have winter. And then there's like a 2-day transitional period between the two. Problem is that little transitional period from winter to summer usually ends up being during my fucking birthday. And like the pollen. Oh god. I keep describing what's going on in my real life. I should put this stuff in the story. It's fucking vomit-inducing pollen. Everything is covered in this sickly pall of yellow and green. It's gross. It's like someone, like, snorting Sprite or something. Men never answered these spam calls. That was the easiest way to get put on a list of active phone numbers. But like many things, I'm not hovering numbers from a 555 area code shouldn't exist. It obviously had to be spoofed, right? Against every instinct she'd learned at her day job, but driven by some other deeper instinct, Amanda answered the phone. Hello? The voice on the other end was so deep and raspy. For a moment, Amanda thought she was talking to the Grim Reaper himself. Drive. Now. Get to the church. The other end disconnected suddenly as Amanda, her attention focused on the spires across the road, barely paid heed to a large lumbering unmarked blue utility van coming up behind her. No, it's not T. T is flowers. D is for the car pedal. It's weird because you hear the phrase pedal to the metal. People think it's P-E-T-A-L, not P-E-D-A-L to the metal. The other end disconnected suddenly as Amanda, her attention focused on the spires across the road, barely paid heed to a large, lumbering, unmarked utility van coming up behind her. Her attention was suddenly drawn to it, however, as the van suddenly picked up speed, veered for her, and aimed directly for her town and country. It was only through this strange, deathly warning that Amanda had the wherewithal to start up again and put her pedal to the metal, barely missing a direct collision. I know there's not a lot of action. I've been trying to write more action into the story. I'm more good with dialogue and trying to set up scenes. Mostly dialogue. I'm not too good with action stuff. Like, that's why I didn't write Takeen a whole lot, because she's supposed to be like fucking Native American John Wick. just like murdering the shit out of people trying to murder her. Like, she's inspired by fights and types. Like, you'll notice a lot of things in the Mahavre project are inspired by games and things that I play on my channel. And I kind of like that continuity. So yeah, there's a big blue van coming for Amanda's little wood panel station wagon. And we get a little action going. Action is harder to depict in text only, yeah. Especially like fight scenes. Like, I used to write, like, one character in a story I wrote was a professional wrestler. You know how hard it is to describe a fucking DDT? Like, drive the knee into the man's stomach, doubling him over, then wrapping your arm around the back of his neck, leaning backward, driving his skull into the mat. Fuck. When you could just say, you hit a DDT. time to start pulling up one of the reasons I was so late this morning. Because in addition to preparing for my birthday stream next week, I've been doing a lot of AI art jets. And scaring the shit out of myself with some of the stuff that I've been making. That's the driver. I didn't think out the sequence beforehand. I do know how I want it to end, how I want certain things to go. But I do know who's gonna show up. That's the driver. You notice the sphinxes on the dashboard and the chariot on the hood. The chariot. I don't know how small to make these. There's gonna be a few of them. I don't want to block like the whole thing, but I don't know how much it's gonna take to get the full one. Desperate. Yep. And apparently no longer receiving black signals as her Mahavri Go app clearly read historical landmark church. Amanda tried to call for help. Her phone was shot out of her hand by the driver of the van and a beast neckbeard of the man wearing yellow snakeskin hat and poncho. Yellow snakeskin. A deep, agonizing feeling dropped in Amanda's crushed roadkill guts. Sure enough, that van had a chariot hood ornament on it. The chariot. The Rattlers had found her. Now this is what happened. Like, I hinted at this in the Tifi chapter last month, that the reason that Amanda was getting out of there for a while was because someone was writing slurs on the doors of the people there. I didn't exactly hint. I hinted at it. I didn't straight up say what it was. This is what it is. I've described the rattlers in previous chapters. Wait till you see the fucking gens I got. Like, I was legitimately scaring myself with some of the gens of the rattlers. It wasn't enough that one of them had found where she lived and spray painted some of the doors with all sorts of ethnic and racial and identity-based slurs, none of which actually applied to her, without finding her actual apartment number. It wasn't that Moon was trying to take her singing gigs from her, and it wasn't enough that Magician was actively poking his head around wherever Amanda showed up, driving her back further into her hole. I'm trying to remember all the Rattlers, because I did gens of all the current Rattlers. And I will be posting these gens to my Twitter with a little bit more explanation as soon as I can. It depends on how long this chapter takes to write. Because I'd introduced the Moon, the Magician. Yeah, the Moon, the Magician. Here I'm introducing the Chariot. I'd hinted at a couple others. There's the Tower, who's just this giant tower of misfortune. And of course there's Death, whose fortune faded, the leader of the Rattlers, the Gorgon woman. The disgusting Gorgon woman who ends up being like the fucking Satan. And of course, Amanda was supposed to be the Wheel of Fortune at some point. She was initially going to join the Rattlers early on and be the Wheel. But in the end, it was more Sandy's influence than anything. Sandy was fucked up at the time. Sandy as a coyote god, using more Amanda more like an experiment than anything else. Her influence was still better than what the Rattlers would have done to her. So Sandy has, I think maybe with all the shit that she's done and how she's lied to Amanda, that's one of the big reasons why Amanda is so loyal to Sandy as it is. Because Sandy has saved her multiple times in multiple ways. Even after the start of the Amanda Splatts project, how Sandy was initially introduced covering for her. I remember. Oh yeah, no, I misspoke. I misspoke. Fortune Faded is in fact the devil. I misspoke. It's the devil. In fact, I'll show you Fortune Faded right now. It took a few times to get the skin right on Fortune Faded. She is in fact the devil. I fucked up. When I did these gens, I wanted to put in elements of the tarot cards into the gen. And there she is, Fortune Faded. So she's got the fist up like death. And I also got two little Greek statues for the two the two chained people in front of Death. So yeah, she's not on the scene, but there, yeah, she is Death. Or Devil. She's Devil. The Devil. Not Death. The Devil. I fucked up. I don't think I've put. I didn't think Death was a tarot card. No, yeah, Death is a tarot card, but she's not. It's not one that has been assigned to anyone yet. Death has not been assigned to any, because I know Death is gonna be a big one, but now she's Devil. I'm sorry, I'm a little fucked up right now with what I'm gonna have to write. Like, this isn't even the start of it. I should probably put like trigger warning or something, because things are gonna get fucking bad if they go like I'm planning. There's this one saying. Let's see if there's a where is this one saying from? No, it's a movie apparently. Ooh, I like that. Death doesn't go about change in action dust. It could be for someone who flips the group on their head, changes how they work. Yeah, that's a thought. I don't want to go through all 23 tarot because I feel like the Rattlers really are a side story. They're side characters. The real villain is Mossberg and the Rot. The Rot that's killing Sandruby and that's killing Mahavre. The Rattlers were a side, and I'll be 100% honest. This next couple of months is resolving the Rattler storyline. That's what I want to do. Because I realize, yeah, it's cool to have a side character for something that more complex story. But these side characters are not really helping the story. Like, I need to go ahead. Like, I've set up the Rattlers as a side threat to the real threat, which is the Eldritch Abominations, personified by Mossberg. And I need to resolve them before I can, like, resolve the real story. I actually had to stop after I made this one. I had to stop because this scared the fuck out of me so bad. It's what was in my head for this character, and worse. Much worse. That fucking terrifies me. The magician. You notice he has the open yellow coat over the usual Rattler suit. And that one hand in the sky and one hand pointing to the ground. As above, so below. The magician. He looks like he's cut a lapuni. So. It can evolve into a meg. Oh, it's a Pokemon. Oh my god, it is a relatively similar color scheme. Ugh. Oh shit. To kind of break up the horrible fucking shit for a moment. Have you heard there's a new Pokemon Power World ripoff? If you've seen the Joker meme, there's no laws against the Pokemon, Batman. But I'm gonna look that up now. Thank you. So we've established, other than death, fortune fated, we've established that that magician is probably the most aggressive out of all of them. The chariot reloaded the doors out of the van, much to Amanda's horror, shambled a towering ebony-skinned clown who made his presence known by driving his elbow directly into Amanda's skull. As above! To which the magician followed up by kicking on the back of Amanda's knees, forcing her to collapse into the dirt. So below! Which, I'm trying to actually play into the tarot that each of these characters is inspired by. And the as above, so below has to do with the human being is a miniature version of the cosmos. Kind of hinting at what the wrote both Pal and Poke, yeah. Kind of hinting at the greater conflict going on with Amanda and the Rattlers, or with Amanda and the Rot, mirroring greater things going on in Mahavre, the bigger physiology of the place. Yeah, it's like I forget the name of it, but it's even a worse ripoff of Pokemon than Pal World. It rips off both Pokemon and Pal World. And the protagonist looks like Link from Breath of the Wild. It's fucking hilarious, and I just want to watch someone play it just to see what happens. Who claims them harder? I'm not going to do introductions that are too long for Magician, Moon, and Hanged Man, because we already introduced them a couple chapters ago. But might as well go ahead and load them all up now. Oops. Fuck. I accidentally started a new scene instead of a new source. Fucking OBS. Might as well go ahead and break up what's gonna be a fucking horrible thing. Show you right now what I was working on. Hanged Man was the hardest to do. Eventually I had to reroll enough times and it worked. But Hanged Man was the hardest. Especially since I did want to incorporate the actual pose of the Hanged Man. Which is hanging upside down by one foot. But we also established in the story so far that Hanged Man has the fucking Cheeto dust on his fingers, big fat, disgusting fella with a sniper rifle. Because he has no subtlety. The Hanged Man has no subtlety whatsoever. And he was the one that got the Rattlers kicked out of the Vegas Dream by screaming that he's just gonna straight up kill Amanda. Like, the other ones were hinting at hurting her, doing something to her. Hangman just straight up said he's gonna kill her with a sniper rifle, and that's what got him kicked out. And then he's like, "Why are you kicking us out?" Because we've all met people who are have that lack of self-awareness whatsoever. That absolute lack of self-awareness. I'll bring up Moon as well. What's the best one I got of Moon? I don't feel I have to say too much about Moon. As far as the design, the inspiration is pretty obvious. I mean, the tarot card Moon is about deception. But as far as, like, anime, you can't say Moon and the word in anime without bringing up certain icons. But it has the... When I tried to gen out Moon, like, many months ago, it would not get the voice changer right. The voice box, trying to speak like this, put it against your windpipe. It didn't get that correct. Right now, it has improved quite a bit. But yeah, there's her the one who's trying to take all of Amanda's singing jobs, even though she can't actually sing. She uses a voice box. So those are Hanged Man, Magician, and Moon. Those are the ones that were introduced in the last chapter. And then, of course, we get Chariot here, who's shouting them around. Here's one I hinted at. Here's one I hinted at but had not shown yet. I'll go ahead and write her. So I show it. Amanda being replaced with what is basically a low-tech AI. Exactly. Exactly. I have hinted in previous chapters about one of the Rattlers being some old woman in a costume. And I figure this is like the best way to get the yellow snakeskin motif going. And there's the cane and the lantern. It's the hermit. Like I said, I will be posting these to Twitter. I may post them to... I may or may not post them to the Discord. Because I don't want to flood the Discord with too much stuff. Beep. Hey, Clanker. Good morning, folks. Good morning, man. Hey, send Hema my regards, man. I was up late last night ginning out some pictures. And I was listening to Hema talking with Raimi. Gecko Sweats. No, these are the Rattlers. These are fucking anarchists of the story. And they're targeting Amanda, and they've just found her and are kicking the shit out of her. If you want to check the VOD for the story, at the end of each VOD, or at the end of each stream, I read the full story all the way through. But yeah, from left to right, that's the Chariot, the Devil, the Magician, the Hanged Man, the Moon, and the Hermit. I'm establishing all my quote-unquote villains of the week. Trust I'm going somewhere with this. Mine's call. Have a great. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Clanker. Thanks for stopping by, my dude. I don't want to read this. So below. and thawed with a few vicious kicks to the gut as the slovenly hanged man and the psychotic grinning moon made their way out of the van, leading out an elderly woman cloaked in a filthy yellow mascot costume of some indescript, ill-defined animal. "Stop resisting, sweetheart," the hermit said in the most sickeningly sweet tone, dripping with faux concern, like some old grandmother trying to wheedle something out of someone. "We're only here to help you." Hanged man scratched his head, filthy orange chip dust intermingling with dandruff. "Really? Help her? I thought I was gonna get to spread her legs and..." "Yeah, man," Magician barked out. "We're getting to that. Just calm the fuck down. Enjoy the moment." No gun, no backup. Bloody and lying in a ditch on the side of the road. Amanda had dreams like this when she was younger. She'd always visit. She'd die in a ditch somewhere. Even she couldn't have envisioned this was how she got there. I got to use the restroom in a little bit, but I didn't want to stop on that note. I keep forgetting how to spell sheriff. I keep thinking it's 2 R's and one F when it's 1 R and 2 F's. Sheriff. I gotta remember that, the sheriff. I know I'm introducing a lot of characters right now, but all I can say is trust me on this. I got a plan for the next few months of the story. This will be going somewhere. I fucking misspelled it again. I spelled it like one, and I think it's muscle memory. Like, people ask how, like, at work, how I can type so fast. Because I got like 70, 75 words per minute last time I tested it. And it's muscle memory. I like to say certain words over and over and over again. I know I get a little quiet when I write dialogue, but the dialogue comes to me and I just try to. It's easier for me to write dialogue than action or anything like that. I'm not shying away from the word of what the hanged man wants to do to Amanda. I'm not shying away from it at all. It's just I don't know if that's one of the words that's going to get this VOD or this channel flagged if I use it. I'm not dancing around it because of the story, because that, with the 90s anime aesthetic, that I go for the channel, the 90s OVA aesthetic, that horrible thing does happen in some of the stuff. Like Wicked City. That was actually a big plot point of Wicked City. But I don't know how hard YouTube would come down on me, because they're recording they're actually doing automatic subtitles now, which means that they've got AI automatically analyzing you as you speak, fucking live and direct. And that's a little scary, because like I'll go over a VOD or something, and it will have like 95% accurate subtitles, and I'll be able to look up shit that I said with an AI assistant. AI is getting fucking frightening. I honestly fear for my job. I really fucking do. I honestly fear for it. With what mundane words to shadowban chat messages for, I can very imagine them striking that word. Yep. Amanda had dreams like this when she was younger. She always envisioned she died in a ditch somewhere, even if she couldn't have envisioned how this got here. The chariot, still sitting in the driver's seat of the van, smacked the side of the van a few times as he noticed a police car pulling up from the distance. That old church was looming far away, like a distant promise. One police car, as opposed to the four people gathered around the roadkill woman, and yet without calling for backup. The figure stepped out of the driver's seat as casual as ever, not even drawing her weapon. The sheriff of Mojave County was a sickly-looking thing. One wouldn't call her statuesque in the least. In fact, it wasn't odd for the sheriff to disappear for months at a time, taking supposed sick leave and letting the city, now without the aid of the American military, further collapse into itself. Ratty blonde hair, bags under the eyes as thick as a raccoon's. Yet the sheriff, the geist that she was, showed no fear walking directly up to the rattlers. Hermit, the most assuming of the motley crew, scampered over to the sheriff, who regarded her with those dead, lifeless eyes. "Thank goodness you're here," the hermit cried out. "This hooligan was causing trouble again. I know you're familiar with her kind, these outsiders. This is our territory and has always been our territory. And now she's poor aggro!" The magician stepped in, repeating his favorite word. "Bitch was complete aggro. Get this bitch out of Mojave. She doesn't belong here." Hanged Man stepped forward, most lumbering forward, brushing a silent moon aside. "Don't kick her out yet. I still haven't had a chance to spread her legs and..." The sheriff sighed as Moon visibly tried to cover Hanged Man's mouth. His chariot let out a chuckle and honked the van's horn. It finally addressed the group, a shrill voice like sandpaper. "Okay, Hanged Man, chariot, please don't threaten to, It might be funny as a joke, but technically you violate several laws. Just head along, alright? Move along." Sheriff sighed as Moon visibly tried to cover Hanged Man's mouth, and Chariot let out a chuckle and honked the van's horn. And finally addressed the group in a shrill voice like sandpaper. Okay, Hanged Man, Chariot, please don't threaten to, you know. It might be funny as a joke, but it technically violates several laws. Just head on, alright? Move along. Taking the out they were given, the assembled rattlers poured back into the nondescript blue van, and Chariot peeled off, leaving the sheriff to kneel over a bloodied and horrified Amanda. You saw the thumbnail with Amanda laying in the ditch. What you didn't see were the gens I tried to make where she was actually covered in blood. Again, I don't know how... if that would get you shadow banned or not either. Get me shadow banned, rather. They just... The sheriff, cocking back her cowboy hat, just stared blankly at the wide-eyed roadkill and shrugged. And what? Silly little outsider. I think the more important question is what you did to provoke them. I think you need a little cooling off period. Of course, maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit here. Wait. You don't have that gun of yours, do you? The little hand cannon? You tell me if you did, right? Amanda said nothing, her consciousness started to fade as she reached for her phone. It wasn't damaged by the shot from the chariot. The gunshot itself was enough to make her drop it, and the Desert Salt LC equipment was more than sturdy enough to withstand a tumble. Yeah, this phone I got is fucking sturdy as hell. It's really fucking nice. I've dropped it a couple times because I'm an uncoordinated bitch. But it's got like vulcanized rubber on it. It's really nice. Amanda said nothing, her consciousness starting to fade as she reached for her phone. It wasn't damaged by the shot from the chariot. The gunshot itself was enough to make her drop it, and the Desert Salt LC was more certain enough to withstand a tumble. The degenerate gambler was about to lose it all. As the sheriff reached into her jeans pocket, fishing out a fistful of papers, Amanda tried to bet on a miracle. One last hand. That last hand came as the phone started ringing again. And with that, I'm really gonna have to be our man. I'm back. Had to look up a couple things. Welcome back, thank you. As you can guess, that's the sheriff. This is the sheriff. I wanted to take another minute to compose myself because the next part's gonna get kind of hard. But you know, I saw the fucking feed cut out because OBS disconnected for a little bit. So for you know, don't postpone it. Don't postpone it. Let's get through it. And I do apologize again. This is not exactly one of those streams where it's. I do go. This is one of those streams where I go in with an idea of what I want to do. But there is going to be a stream very soon where I will be taking a lot of feedback if anyone wants to come out. It'll be a very important one, and I will announce that at the end of this chapter. Just doing a little bit of research. Just one moment. I don't know. The internet doesn't seem to be too horrible. Maybe it's just OBS fucking up. I'm just doing a little bit of research. I wanna stick this landing. Want to make sure I get this reference right. Do you call it a button? Like when you see like the little green circle for the phone or the green circle for the camera. Do you call it a button? Because it's not a button. It's all, if you got a smartphone, it's just like one big section. Quote unquote button. If your president's there, you fucking go. I've been watching over this place longer than you've been alive. The sheriff continued that she sort of. I wanted to drive home the fact that Amanda is an outsider in this place. She was like run over. The incident where she was run over by the isekai truck was approximately 15 years ago or so. So she's like, there are people who have been here a lot longer than that, stuck in their ways. Even though time is bent and broken in this place. Again, the fact that time is bent and broken here and flows differently is a as I showed a few days ago, big reference to the land of summoned monsters in Final Fantasy IV. So one of the reasons I was so big on playing Final Fantasy IV finally, it's so you can see like the couple of influences here and there on in the Mahavri project. The sheriff continued. She sorted through the papers, distracted as she went through the receipts, torn photographs, and to no large surprise, a worn, torn tarot card of the justice. You don't fit in here. I'm surprised you've stuck around as long as you have. What with how we've tried to gently dissuade you from staying here. But you've always been prudent to take hints, haven't you? And the fact that our attempts to gently dissuade you from staying here and being so aggro frustrate me greatly and make me want to act more impulsively. As the justice was distracted, Amanda weakly tapped the video conference button on her phone, opening whoever was on the end of the call, her final call to the unfolding scene. Oh, what happened? Hey. Oh, fuck. I'm so used to trying to keep an eye on chat that I just got a Discord message because I opened up Discord again to check the references, and I thought the Discord message was a chat message. I'm a little fucked up. Gotta get a little levity. Gotta get a little. What do they call it? Jinx, I know you're not in the U.S., but I don't know if they have them over there too. It's like a It's like not a camera, but it's like a microphone or something, a megaphone on your shoulder. If you're a policeman, like you talking to your shoulder. Look, I got Brave open. I'll look it up. I got more fucking tabs than Malone open right now, looking up so many things. What is it called? Shoulder. Oh, it's simply just a shoulder mic. Shoulder mics are commonly used by law enforcement to enable hands-free communication, allowing officers to transmit and receive radio messages without handling their radio. However, their placement and use involve important safety and technical considerations. Cord hazards, distraction, interference. There's recommended placement: threading the mic cord under the shirt, clipping the mic. I'm learning way too much about this fucking shit. I just needed to know what it's called. Others use wireless systems, mic loops, or clips. Yeah, it's just called shoulder mic. I'm looking to pull some shit out of pockets. I gotta set Google to my search, default search somehow in Brave, because Brave search kind of sucks. No, this can't be corrected. Okay. Fuck, I got so... Good thing Malone's not watching right now. I got so many fucking tabs open. I really do want to stick this landing. Because the next couple streams are going to be real fucking important. There we go. Disparate, the right word. Is it even the right? Disparate. Yeah, that is actually perfect. Disparate is a perfect word. Zosimus Tarkus put it brilliantly, and I want to use this from now on. I think it'd be cool with it about what Amanda is. That she is a collection of things that died on that one road on Route 22. Specifically an eagle. That was the last one that she actually took the physical form in. Zos put it as everything that dies leaves a mark, and Amanda is a collection of the marks on that road. No wonder she keeps getting hunted when she's got that big a mark on her. Exactly. Not quite, but exactly. Yeah. As the justice was distracted, Amanda weakly tapped the video conference button on her phone, hoping whoever was on the other end of the call, her final call to the unfolding scene. Miss Splatts, video conferencing isn't necessary. The judge just wants to know where you are. Your name was called for the jury pool, and the horrified shriek from the county clerk told Amanda all she needed to know. The sheriff, the justice, hurriedly crammed her papers back in her pocket and stared deeply into the phone camera with her cold, dead eyes and her limp smile. It's okay, it's me, Sheriff Mithril. Miss Splatts was attacked by an unknown assailant. You have my permission to excuse her from jury duty. I'll handle it from here, okay? I'm in control here. Not waiting for the reply from the clerk, who obviously saw the blood pouring from Amanda's head wound, the justice turned Amanda's phone off, standing back up. And mumbling, I'm always in patrol. Her expression dead as ever, she made her way back to her patrol car, cocking her neck to activate her shoulder mic. Leaving Amanda bleeding in the ditch, Justice said something about being in hot pursuit of an unknown assailant, as the roadkill woman was left to bake in the hot sun, unable to move, hardly able to breathe. Laying there on her back, letting the hot sun further bake her road-killed flesh, Amanda could feel herself decompose. The many disparate parts of her started to break apart. She started to feel the various marks, the victims of that road that composed the roadkill stew that was your faithful Amanda Splatts dissipate. She could almost see the various animals her isekai form was composed of, right down to the eagle that started the whole process in earnest. And underneath her, as in the most angry and deepest of dreams, she felt them. The hands from below. The hands, the claws, the teeth, the things underneath. Not trying to claim her, but trying to reclaim her. She lost consciousness and let them have her. Faint rumbling sound, a light tremor could be felt in the side of the road, where that little church loomed in the distance. This tremor, a violence that shook the other closer landmarks in the Havre, came from the rock quarry, a mostly abandoned series of holes in the sand mined and stripped by the old companies long since out of business. It was here in that rock quarry that the world moved, the earth shook. Monstrous faults were driven into the ground by furious fists, powered by 700 pounds of immeasurably dense and ridiculously massive muscle. Alpha Splatts, her tears streaming down her cheeks as she drove her fists deep into the earth, unable to contain her fury any longer. Day was the day. Her monstrous pectorals heaved with her sobs as she tried to tire herself out, knowing she could never truly fully do it. Alpha, Amanda from the future, remembered this day. Remembered what she'd lost, and it still dug at the Titan's soul. And yet, even as she'd stayed quiet about so much as nobody but Takeen, a fellow time traveler from the past, because remember, Takeen is one of the water bearers from the past. The gods fast-forwarded Takeen from the past to the quote-unquote future so that she would not be tainted by the war to come, though she's still pure like Amanda is. She couldn't save herself. She couldn't stop these horrible things from happening. It wasn't like the remnants of the 661, where she subtly influenced her past decisions to save her from certain death at Mossberg's hands. This was an unskippable cutscene. Try as she might to change that. Alpha knew that. She didn't want to suffer. She didn't want her past self to suffer. But as that figure emerged from behind that small decrepit church, awakened by the tremors and making her way to the dreamer in the ditch in the distance, only one thing kept her from having to experience that betrayal all over again. This was the only way that Amanda would ever meet. Go ahead and save. I'm going to take a brief break, just a couple minutes, so I can go ahead and tag this on my end, get the timestamp possible, and then we'll go ahead and go through the whole story. This is a lot shorter than I thought it'd be, but I ended up touching all the notes, and I really wanted to get this chapter over so I could move forward. So be okay. I'm sorry this is the short one, but not every chapter has to be long. I feel like I've said and set up. Welcome back, thank you, Jinx. Like I've said and I've set up a whole lot in this chapter. Like I'll go over. I'm gonna read it over again, as I always do. For anyone who wants to catch the VOD and just get right to the story, I always read it at the end. Then I want to go ahead and announce what my plans are. Because I know, Jinx, I hope you'll be interested in what my plans are. And anyone else who may have found out about me through other means, checking the VOD, or see me shilling myself in other places, I hope they're interested in this too. There it is. The sky over Mojave grew gray and maudlin, not quite raining just yet, but getting ready to express the concept of raining. It helped cool things down, and that helped with the move. It was pretty common these days to pray for rain and curse the deluge that followed. Amanda smiled sadly, kneeling down and wrapping her arms around Bun Bun, the proud lacomorphic American, proud retired 5-star general of the Red Desert Army, the one who found Amanda and helped nurse her back to health when San Ruby initially patched her up on the night nobody liked to talk about anymore. General Beauregard Hasselhoff, as she was officially known, packed up the last of various odds and ends, traveling light, leaving most of her military memorabilia to the Veterans Home. One of the many things she was trying to leave behind as she hugged Amanda back. "Come with me, Amanda," Bun Bun croaked out. "I got like 20 adult kids at this point. I'm sure one of them will let you shack up in their garage. That's what I'm doing. You gotta get out of this place. It's not healthy. Especially now that Bun Bun, not often one to beat around the bush, mostly chewed the bandages around Amanda's arm. Amanda sighed sadly. "I can't. I promised to Keen I'd help try to bring the water back to Mojave, restore this place. Mandy, I've been a general on the front lines protecting this county for longer than you've been alive. And I used to lie to myself like that too, out of pride more than anything. There's nothing here to restore. There's nothing here worth protecting anymore. The rot has taken Mojave, no matter how hard me and my sisters fought against it. I don't want it to take you too." Amanda nodded, wordlessly hugging the old general before reluctantly letting her go into the arms of her children and grandchildren, crammed into the old van as they took one last selfie before disappearing down the non-Euclidean roads that skewed one's sense of direction. It was going to be a lot quieter without Bun Bun around, but Amanda promised to keep taking singing gigs at the Veterans Hall just to check in on her old friends. One final salute later, and Amanda hopped into her red and black wood panel town and country, peeling off as she felt the winds kick up, indicating that her deck was now shuffling again. Amanda, who had purpose on those roads today, pulled out her cell phone after pulling over the side of the road. Most people weren't coordinated enough to drive while using their phones, although they still did. And Amanda was far less coordinated than most people, which you would know by watching her fighting game Let's Plays, or any of her Let's Plays in general. So she opted to pull over as soon as she hit a quote-unquote landmark, because pulling over on the roads themselves wasn't safe anymore. She found that personally, and pulled out her phone, loading up the Mojave Go app pushed by the local government. The way landmarks kept shifting, she knew where the courthouse was. She just didn't know where the courthouse was now. At least using the county's dedicated eyes on the sky now that the American military had pulled out of Mojave, leaving Juliet Romero behind. Amanda knew where to go. Or she would have if she wasn't getting an error message. Those obelisks again. She had once again found herself at the landmark, dotted by monstrous white teeth, jutting arrogantly against the sky as if to tear it, and surrounded by razor wire and drones as if to give them time and space to do it. Cautiously, she pulled up her phone to take a picture, only for it to start ringing again. The same 555 number from New Jersey. Amanda was no stranger to spam callers, and no, she did not redeem. But this number only called when Amanda found herself staring at those jutting white spires. Amanda never answered these spam calls. That was the easiest way to get put on a list of active phone numbers. But like many things in Mojave, numbers from a 555 area code shouldn't exist. It obviously had to be spoofed, right? Against every instinct she'd learned in her day job, but driven by some other deeper instinct, Amanda answered the phone. Hello? The voice on the other end was so deep and raspy for a moment, Amanda thought she was talking to the Grim Reaper himself. Drive. Now. Get to the church. The other end disconnected suddenly as Amanda, her attention focused on the spires across the road, barely paid heed to a large, lumbering, unmarked blue utility van coming up behind her. Her attention was suddenly drawn to it, however, as the van suddenly picked up speed, veered for her, and aimed directly for her town and country. It was only through this strange, deathly warning that Amanda had the wherewithal to start up again and put her pedal to the metal, barely missing a direct collision. Barreling down the road, Amanda's lack of coordination was cancelled out by the fact that her wood-paddled warhorse had more power under the hood than even the automotively challenged Amanda could have comprehended. But the old hack's reflexes met the cracks and decay on those old roads, and as soon as she made it to the next landmark, a small, decrepit Christian-like church, she swerved into the ditch, the monstrous blue van opting this time not to ram her, but to pull up alongside her and block any further retreat. Despite and apparently no longer desperate and apparently no longer receiving blocked signals, as her Mojave go-out clearly read historical landmark church, Amanda tried to call for help. Her phone shot out of her hand by the driver of the van, an obese neckbeard of a man wearing a yellow snakeskin hat and poncho. Yellow snakeskin. A deep agonizing feeling dropped in Amanda's crushed roadkill guts. Sure enough, that van had a chariot hood ornament on it. The chariot. The Rattlers had found her. It wasn't enough that one of them had found where she lived and spray painted some of the doors with all sorts of ethnic and racial and identity-based slurs, none of which actually applied to her, without finding her actual apartment number. It wasn't that Moon was trying to take her singing gig from her. It wasn't enough that Magician was actively poking his head around wherever Amanda showed up, driving her back further into her hole. The attacks had stepped up, and the accuracy of those attacks had become more and more precise. Today, someone had finally hit the mark. The chariot reloaded as the doors in the back of the van flew open. Amanda immediately terrified that she had left her Desert Eagle at home, anticipating they'd have issues with someone bringing a gun to a courthouse. Out of the back of the van, much to Amanda's horror, shambled a towering ebony-skilled clown who made his presence known by driving his elbow directly into Amanda's skull. "As above!" To which the Magician followed up by kicking out the back of Amanda's knees, forcing her to collapse into the dirt. "So below!" And followed up with a few vicious kicks to the gut as the slovenly hanged man and the psychotic grinning Moon made their way out of the van, leading out an elderly woman cloaked in a filthy yellow mascot costume of some indiscriminate, ill-defined animal. "Stop resisting, sweetheart," the hermit said in the most sickeningly sweet tone, dripping with faux concern, like some old grandmother trying to wheedle something out of someone. "We're only here to help you." Hanged man scratched his head, filthy orange chip dust intermingling with dandruff. "Really? Help her? I thought I was just gonna get to spread her legs and..." "Yeah, man," the Magician barked out. "We're getting to that. Just calm the fuck down. Enjoy the moment." No gun, no backup, bloody and lying in a ditch on the side of the road. Amanda had dreams like this when she was younger. She'd always envisioned she'd die in a ditch somewhere, even when she couldn't envision how this was how she got there. The chariot, still sitting in the driver's seat of the van, smacked the side of the van a few times as he noticed the police car pulling up from the distance. The little church looming far away like a distant promise. One police car as opposed to 4 people gathered around the roadkill woman, and yet without calling for backup, the figure stepped out of the car at the driver's seat as casual as ever, not even drawing her weapon. The sheriff of Mojave County was a sickly-looking thing. One wouldn't call her statuesque in the least. In fact, if it wasn't for the odd sheriff to disappear for months at a time, taking supposed sick leave and letting the city, now without the aid of the American military, further collapse into itself. Ratty blonde hair, bags under her eyes as thick as raccoons. Yet the sheriff, the geist that she was, showed no fear, walking directly up to the Rattlers. Hermit, the most assuming of the motley crew, scampered over to the sheriff, who regarded her with those dead, lifeless eyes. "Thank goodness you're here. Hermit cried out. This hooligan was causing trouble again. I know you're familiar with her kind, those outsiders. This is our territory. And she's always been our territory, and now she's pure aggro! Magician stepped in, repeating his favorite word. Bitch was complete aggro! Get this bitch out of my house already. She doesn't belong here. Hangman stepped forward again, more so lumbering forward, brushing his silent moon aside. Don't kick her out yet. I still haven't had a chance to spread her legs. And the sheriff sighed as Moon visibly tried to cover Hangman's mouth as Chariot let out a chuckle and honked the van's horn. Finally addressed the group, a shrill voice like sandpaper. Okay, Hangman, Chariot, please don't threaten to, It might be funny as a joke, but technically you violate several laws. Just head on, alright? Move along. Taking the out they were given, the assembler's rattlers poured back into the nondescript blue van and Chariot peeled off, leaving the sheriff to kneel over a bloodied and horrified Amanda. Hey, the sheriff, cocking back her cowboy hat, just stared blankly at the wide-eyed roadkill and shrugged. Hey, what? Silly little outsider. I think the more important question is what you did to provoke them. I think you need a little cooling off period. Of course, maybe I'm just jumping the gun a bit. Wait. You don't have that gun of yours, do you? That little hand cannon? Tell me if you're dead right. Amanda said nothing, her consciousness starting to fade as she reached for her phone. It wasn't damaged by the shot from the Chariot. The gunshot itself was enough to make her drop it, and Desert Salt LLC equipment was more than sturdy enough to withstand a tumble. The degenerate gambler was about to lose it all, and as the sheriff reached into her jeans pocket, fishing out a fistful of papers, Amanda tried to bet on a miracle. One last hand. The last hand came as her phone started ringing again. I've been watching over this place longer than you found out. The sheriff continued as she sorted through the papers, distracted as she went through the receipts, torn photographs, and to no large surprise, the torn tarot card of the justice. You don't fit in here. I'm surprised you've stuck around as long as you have, but with how we tried to dissuade you from staying here. You've always been too dense to take hints, haven't you? And the fact that our attempts to gently dissuade you from staying here and being so aggro frustrate me greatly and make me want to act more impulsively. As the justice was distracted, Amanda weakly tapped the video conference quote-unquote button on her phone, opening whoever was on the other end of the call to that, her final call to the unfolding scene. Miss Splatts, video conferencing isn't necessary. The judge just wants to know where you are. Your name was called for the jury pool. The horrified shriek from the county clerk told Amanda all she needed to know. The sheriff, the justice, hurriedly crammed her papers back into her pocket and stared deeply into the phone cam with the cold, dead eyes and limp smile. It's okay, it's me, Sheriff Mithril. Miss Splatts here was attacked by an unknown assailant. You have my permission to excuse her from jury duty. I'll handle it from here, okay? I'm in control here. Not waiting for the reply from the clerk, who obviously saw the blood pouring from Amanda's head wound, the justice turned Amanda's phone off, standing back up and mumbling, I'm always in control. Her expression dead as ever, she made her way back to the patrol car, cocking her neck to activate her shoulder mic. Leaving Amanda bleeding in the ditch, Justice said something about being in hot pursuit of an unknown assailant, as the roadkill woman was left to bake in the hot sun, unable to move, hardly able to breathe. Laying there on her back, letting the hot sun further bake her roadkill flesh, Amanda could feel herself decompose. The many disparate parts of her started to break apart. She started to feel the various marks, the victims of that road that composed the roadkill stew that was your faithful Amanda Splatts, dissipate. She could almost see the various animals her isekai form was composed of, right down to that eagle that started the whole process in earnest. And underneath her, in the most angry and deepest of dreams, she felt them. The hands from below. Hands, claws, teeth, things underneath. Not trying to claim her, but trying to reclaim her. She lost consciousness, then let them have her. A faint rumbling sound, a light tremor, could be felt on the side of the road, where that little church loomed in the distance. This tremor of violence that shook the other landmarks of Mahavre came from the rock quarry, a mostly abandoned series of holes in the sand, mined and stripped by old companies long since out of business. It was here in that rock quarry that the world moved. The earth shook. Monstrous faults driven into the ground by furious fists, powered by 700 pounds of immeasurably dense and ridiculously massive muscle. Alpha Splatts, her tears streaming down her cheeks as she drove her fist deep into the earth, unable to contain her fury any longer. Today was the day. Her monstrous pectorals heaved with her sobs as she tried to tire herself out, knowing she could never truly fully do it. Alpha, Amanda from the future, still remembered this day. Remembered what she'd lost and still dug at the Titan's soul. And yet, she'd stayed quiet about so much as nobody but Takeen, a fellow time traveler from the past, even knew her identity. Alpha had to stay silent. She couldn't save herself. She couldn't stop these horrible things from happening. It wasn't like in the remnants of the 661, where she suddenly influenced her past decisions to save her from certain death at Mossberg's hands. This was an unskippable cutscene. Crash, she might change that. Alpha knew that. She didn't want to suffer. She didn't want her past self to suffer. But as that figure emerged from behind the small, decrepit church, awakened by the tremors and making her way to the dreamer in the ditch in the distance, only one thing kept her from having to experience that betrayal all over again. Because this was the only way that Amanda would ever meet. Ever meet who? Ever meet who? I want you to help me determine that. I will be doing a second writing stream this month. I'm going to ask as many people as I can to stop by. And I hope I do get a whole bunch of people stopping by because they're going to be affecting the channel directly. March 22nd, 7 a.m. is my birthday. I've got a few different things planned for my birthday. I'll talk more about it on the wrap-up show in a few days. But the main thing is I'm going to do a second writing stream. It's next Sunday. And I want chat to help me create a new protagonist. A secondary protagonist. The person that Amanda meets outside the church. We're going to build I want to build a character up from scratch. Taking in feedback from anyone in the chat. Anyone who wants to stop by. I'm going to specifically ask certain people to stop by, and have all my regulars stop by too. Obviously, Jenks should be a massive help if you be there on it'd be next Sunday. And what I want to do is I want to do a 3-act story. I'm working hard on wanting to get more continuity. Want to get more, like, not just like the little episodic things. I do like that. Little kind of standalone things every episode. I do like that. But I want to try to do something that has a little more continuity to it too. So I thought I was looking into the concept of a 3-act play. The structure of a 3-act play. Model. I'm just looking up Wikipedia right now. Model used in a narrative fiction that divides a story into 3 parts, often called the setup, confrontation, and resolution. As the story moves along, the plot usually progresses in such a way as to pose a major dramatic question. Oh, my arm. Oh no, my fucking arm. Ah, fuck it. So yeah, there's the inciting incident, plot point, midpoint, plot point, climax. I want, what that it? Well, what's that going to be? Who is it gonna be? I want chat to help me write that with me. I apologize, like the last several chapters of the project have not been as interactive because I've been trying to force the story along. I've been trying to jumpstart the plot. That's one of the reasons Agent Takeen exists. Characters in the project are supposed to exist for a reason. Takeen is there to help move the plot along. Bun Bun is there to show compassion for Amanda, although that compassion is gone. Sand Ruby, obviously, her role in Amanda's life is obvious. Juliet, there representing the military, although Juliet probably won't be around much because the military is pulled out. Dual Greens, obviously the OC that you make when you're horny. The Rattlers. The Rattlers are supposed to be fodder. Because once I decided that Sand Ruby, you there maybe a few minutes late, that's cool. Yeah, it's gonna be 7 a.m. the usual time. Yeah. Take your time, dude. We'll be. I won't actually be writing a story that day. It'll just be working on character creation. If you miss the March 22nd stream, you're not gonna miss any of the story, but you'll miss out on the chance to create. So yeah, thank you, man. The Rattlers were supposed to be like an enemy of the week type of thing, but the Rattlers, therefore, as the anarchists, that is the biggest plot thread that's open up right now, and how they're actively harassing Amanda and trying to destroy her life, and have almost in this chapter actually been successful in that. So I wanted to go ahead and wrap up the Rattler storyline and take this as an opportunity to interact with my chat and let people guide. I might open up marshmallows for suggestions for people who might not even be there either. That might be cool. But the easiest way will be March 22nd, like next Sunday. Not this Sunday. This Sunday I want to finish Final Fantasy IV. And I think the easiest way to do that, I've looked at what's left. There are only a few dungeons left, quote unquote, because I just made it to the fucking moon. I think I'm going to start with the Sylph Cave. I think the Sylph Cave is only a couple floors, like 3 floors. Do the Sylph Cave. Do the Sylph Cave again. And then I think that will level me up enough to fight Odin. And then go ahead and do the moon stuff. I hope to get it done in one day. And then Sealy. Then I got fucking Dokapon Kingdom. Oh, fuck. So yeah. I'm gonna go, if I have time later today, I'll go ahead and post more about the Rattlers. Because you notice the devil, Fortune Faded, did not appear. The tower has been mysterious by her absence quite a bit. I was thinking about something I might have forgotten, but has the tower actually been stated to do anything? No. You are very, very observant, Jinx. Tower's disappeared. Tower has not been... Tower was only seen in that one flashback and has not been mentioned. Very observant. But yeah, that's the Rattlers as they stand right now. Like I said, these came out so good, they honestly kind of scared me. I didn't want to write this chapter today, man. I really didn't want to write this fucking chapter. But it needs to set up so we can go ahead and move on with the story and get the fan interaction. And these came out so really good that I just had to. There's Chariot. You notice the Sphinxes and the actual Chariot itself, both indicators on the card. And here's Fortune Faded as the devil, with the one fist raised and the 2 statues in front of her. I think it's actually like 2 naked people, but nah, just so I don't hit any fucking content violations. There's the magician scared the living fuck out of me when it came out. We've got the open coat, the hand put up, the hand pointing down. That actually fucking terrified me when I got it. And I'm like, okay, I need to do this chapter. Hanged Man was weird. Hanged Man I had to do a few different times. There were a couple of generations where the AI was confused because he's supposed to be hanging from 1 foot from the ceiling, but it got confused, so it gave him feet at the bottom as well. Like, so he was hanging by a foot at the top, and then he still had a body and feet at the bottom down. So it like gave him 2 legs above, 2 legs below, as above, so below. There's the moon. The moon's fucking obvious. Obviously, these characters all have symbolism to them behind being the tarot cards. And I'll bring up that symbolism when it's right, but I think most people have been able to figure it out. Here's a sickeningly sweet hermit. Kind of helps launder things, puts a fresh, grandmotherly face on the Rattler's activities. And, the sheriff. The justice. Maybe I've just made him stand on one leg and flip the image upside down. I thought about that, but I wanted his face upright as well, and holding the sniper rifle. But that would have been... Yeah, I probably could have done that. But what I've been doing is I've been using Bing DALL-E for years. But it's actually gone to shit. It doesn't even do anime anymore most of the time. So I've had to use the GPT 4.0 version. It's still Bing Create, but it's one of the 3 different models they have. It gives you 1 at a time instead of 4, and it takes a lot longer. But it is shockingly good with the accuracy. Like, it's gotten all the details I put. Like, you saw Chariot was very detailed with the sphinxes and the hood ornament and the hat and everything. It got every single detail right. And, like, with how Magician looked, etc. It was slow, but it was shockingly good. And that was one of the reasons I was late, a little bit later than usual today, was because I was jetting out the last couple picks for the Hermit and the Chariot. I had everything else already done. But yeah, with the Devil, Fortune Faded, still mysterious, vanished by her absence. This is the de facto leader of the Rattlers now. The corrupt sheriff of Mahavre, the Justice. And that story is finally going to resolve itself over the next few months. And chat, y'all are going to help me with it. I hope. Jinx, thank you for stopping by. You are a fucking homie, man. You are. Clanker, thank you for stopping by. Always a pleasure. I was up a little late last night, teaching Sensoka how to play a couple games. And I also caught Hema, and Raimi was there in Hema's chat. I was kind of not chatting to them. So I apologize if this stream was a little short today. And I apologize if I seemed a little out of sorts. But like I said, I didn't want to write this chapter. I really didn't, but I know I had to because of what's coming next. The hero has been down dark for a long time, and it's time to start the redemption arc. It's time to start mobbing up all the small guys. Time to start killing off all the quote-unquote monsters of the week, so we can finally get to the big confrontation, which is Amanda and San Ruby and Mossberg. So I got to get ready. I'm teaching a few people how to play Red Dragon Inn, actually. I haven't seen Red... That's a lot of fucking fun. I love it, Red Dragon Inn. So I'll be putting out a statement shortly, getting ready for this. And later today, 6 p.m., Stream with No Plans with Choco Minato. Although, spoiler alert, we may have some plans. Lurkers, VOD Watchers, Second Screen Saints again. I'm sorry that this chapter was so dark. I knew it was going to be dark going in as we introduced all these villains. we needed to go ahead and start wrapping up the side story so we can focus on the main thing again. The original plan was to finish off the Mahavre project in 2 years. And that's not going to happen now. Unless I, like, do a writing stream every week. And I don't want to burn myself out by doing that. So March 22nd, as part of my all-day birthday. Now, I'll go ahead and touch briefly on my birthday. Last year I did 13 streams in a week on my birthday week. But that was me burning myself the fuck out and necessitating a long break afterwards. This year is going to be a big celebration, going to be doing a lot of cool stuff, but it's not going to be nearly as long. I'm going to try to take care of myself because I figure if I start taking care of myself and my mental health a little bit more, that's one of the best presents I could give to y'all. See you later tonight for Chaco Minato. And then Friday, fun with Zosima Starkets on Friday the 13th. Doing horrible shit. Then Sunday, Final Fantasy 4. Hopefully wrapping it up. And then more fucking Dokapon Kingdom. Fuck. I am your faithful Amanda Splatts. And this is the Amanda Splatts Project. Writing the Mahavre Project. Yeah, have a good day.